I apologize, I'm a little unwell, and no crowd such as yours, as energized as yours, should be subjected to an unwell person's long ranting. So I'll try to keep this short. First of all, Jai Bhim, Lal Salam to all of you, specifically the students who protested here when they saw that on 20th of July, students and young people across Delhi were being dragged on the streets of Delhi. You saw blood and you did not think of it as the blood of someone else. You thought of it as the blood of a friend, the blood of a comrade, the blood of a classmate, a family member. So solidarity to you, Jai Bhim, Lal Salam to all of you who stood in solidarity with us. My solidarity to all of those students against whom cases were filed by a government which extended solidarity to us in Jantar Mantar, but when protests were going on here in Bangalore, they filed FIRs and they detained students here. I believe that those political parties who claim to be anti-BJP must lead by example what anti-BJP looks like, instead of providing mere lip service to this anti-fascist agenda and anti-BJP united front. They must lead by example and show what pro-student politics actually looks like. And just a warning at the end, if they behave like the BJP, they treat the students and young people of this country like the BJP, the young people and the students of this country will treat them like the BJP, and it's been a very, very bad past few months for the BJP, so other political parties must beware a little. So I stand here, first of all, to extend solidarity to the students of APU who have been fighting a complete crackdown on any form of democratic discussion in their universities. Our very own comrade who was singing here so beautifully, she was suspended by her university for holding a discussion. What a shame that in a country so many years after independence, students are being expelled for holding discussions. What are they afraid of? What will we discuss in these reading sessions, in these book review sessions, that the government is so afraid of? The only thing that they're afraid of is our unity. These discussions, these disagreements which are disrespectful, they bind and create solidarity among students, and that perhaps is what they're truly afraid of. I extend my solidarity to all of those organizations who are fighting against the forced closure of so many government schools here in Karnataka, because the closure of government schools does not just mean that a dysfunctional school with a few dozen students is being closed down. It means that for several families for whom that school was the only chance at an education, those families and the young generations of their families lose out at a future, lose out at a dignified life, lose out at a dignified job. So my solidarity to all of them. This Gen Z Rising campaign has been truly heartwarming. When we were thinking of this campaign and when we were thinking of slogans for this campaign, one of the slogans was Gen Z Rising, let 1,000 Jantar Mantars bloom. And in the course of these past 2 weeks, I have truly witnessed that in this country, in the states of the south of India, in the states of southern India, we have truly been witnessing Jantar Mantars blooming everywhere. I started traveling to student movements, and I began in Jharkhand, where the students have been were protesting against the JPSSC, JSSC, CGL examination. And to the utter misfortune of another government, the students sat there on an indefinite sit-in as well as a hunger strike, and congratulations to the students of Jharkhand who have registered a resounding victory in having these 2 examinations cancelled. Despite the attempt of the right-wing forces present in the Jantar Mantar protests despite the claims of the right-wing forces present at the Jaipal Singh Munda Stadium, saying that we are leading this protest and we will allow no Muslim to enter this protest. We will not allow any CJP to enter this protest. No Neha Bora is ever going to be welcome in this protest. And to their great misfortune, the lessons from Jantar Mantar were not forgotten by the people and young people of Jharkhand. When I went there, the amount of support and solidarity they extended to all of those people who were wounded by state repression on the 20th of July, it was so overwhelming. On that very day, this young man who should ideally have been protesting at the Jaipal Singh Munda Stadium along with the other young people of Jharkhand, of Ranchi, he goes on and interferes in our march and throws ink at me. And to justify his criminal act, he says, Jai Shri Ram. What an irony that a slogan that means such reverence, such sense of community for so many is utilized by so many right-wing goons to justify their own criminal actions. And that man said, when he was asked by the media, why did you do this? And the man says, I don't like this person because she is a supporter of Umar Khalid. Well, I don't know how much ink the RSS and BJP ecosystem of Karnataka has, because I believe in this gathering are hundreds upon hundreds of supporters of our dear friend and comrade Umar Khalid. From Ranchi, I went to Kolkata, where the Indian Statistical Institute is being faced with the ISI bill, where the autonomy of the university, much like all other universities in this country, is being threatened. And the students have been waging a relentless battle against it, and the ISI bill was stayed. I'll tell you a wonderful thing, because Azadi slogan was being mentioned by Krishna sir. So the right wing, which was so against the slogan of Azadi and saying that this is an anti-national slogan, I would like to tell you and bring this wonderful news to you that when we went to ISI along with the professors and other students who were protesting against the ISI bill, few BJP RSS members gathered in front of the main gate of ISI and they raised slogans against me. The slogans they raised were, Bam Panch se Azadi, Neha Bora se Azadi. I felt great pride at having brought this slogan with a rich and beautiful history to the right wing. I think we should all congratulate ourselves that the right wing has finally understood that if you disagree with something, instead of throwing ink, you can protest. And in your protests, you can demand freedom from being subjected to anyone, even if that person is from a left organization, even if that person is me. So congratulations to all of you and all of us at having brought Azadi to the right wing. Then in this campaign, we went to Hyderabad. At Lamakan, it is in the city, it's inside the city, this venue Lamakan. And a great many young people turned up. And one underlying theme of the questions that they asked us was whether Muslim citizens in this country should protest. And if they protest, how much should they protest? Is it okay to commit a protest because at a protest or any other public place, the Muslims and the other marginalized people, sections of the society, but specifically the Muslim community, is more vulnerable? And from this conversation, we pieced together, and the people pieced together, that this realization that this country has become extremely hostile to its own citizens. The people in power has made this country extremely hostile to its own citizens. What more of a tragedy can there be in a nation that neighbors, friends, classmates look at each other and they see enemies and not fellow friends. But even against this, the young people at Hyderabad proclaimed that if this country is broken and we realize it, we love it nevertheless, not for what it is today, but for its rich history and for what it could be tomorrow with our united struggle. Then we went to HCU, where students are today beginning their 4th day of hunger strike. They are fighting against the increasing influence of an ABVP union, the violence perpetrated by that union, the complete lack of any form of infrastructure in their hostels, in their classrooms, a complete breakdown of the dispersal of scholarships in their universities. From this gathering, I would also like to extend my solidarity to all of the comrades who are sitting on a hunger strike, Comrade Shrestha, Comrade Siddhant, and Comrade Jia. May we all be inspired by their struggle, and may their struggle register the same victory that the other student movements are witnessing currently. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of the protests that went on in Nalsar. We met several of the students at Nalsar. So when evidence of the violence from 20th of July was presented in the Supreme Court, the CJI says that do not waste the time of the court by showing us these countless videos. And when the students of Nalsar heard this, they said that even though it is a tradition in Nalsar that the convocation ceremony would be addressed by the Chief Justice and the passing out graduating batch would be given their degrees by the CJI, the students of Nalsar said that we don't want our degrees from this man. And this man is not welcome in our university. And then Manan Mishra, the chairman of the Bar Council, says that the entire passing out batch of Nalsar will not be enrolled in the bar. But happy news is on the way. It took only 1.5 days of protests for the chairman to roll back his notification, and then 2 days more for his to tender an apology. So salute to the students of Nalsar as well. Then we went to Vijayawada, where there has been a massive scam being reported by the students in teachers' recruitment, where instead of increasing the sports quota and allowing more students to enter the profession, a sudden notification cancels it, putting thousands upon thousands of students and their futures in jeopardy. So our solidarity to the students of Vijayawada from here, from Bangalore. Then we head to Chennai, where I had the honor of meeting Comrade Mohan, Comrade Dhanasekhar, and Comrade Mani. We've heard this name again and again during our conversations. Her name is Anita. She was a young student who was fighting against this centralized NEET exam. And when she received disappointment from the judicial system as well as the political system, she took her own life. Her brother is Mani Ratnam. So many years after losing his sister, he continues to uphold her legacy and fight against the injustice that is the NEET exam. Salute to the comrades and the young people of Chennai who are fighting and teaching the rest of the country as well what centralization can do to the young generations. What examinations like the NEET, the JEE can do to the public educational infrastructure. Then from there we go to Kozhikode. You heard another name. Her name is Anagha Shashi, and she has been sitting at Malayalam University protesting against caste discrimination that she has been facing from the administration, faculty and students in her university. People who have been named in the FIR registered against the SC/ST Atrocities Act have still not been arrested. 2 days before she finally, after many weeks of struggle, received her annual report. She's fighting not just for herself, but she's fighting for all of those students who will come after her so that they don't have to study in a university where they are constantly being subjected to an undignified academic environment. They are being constantly subjected to casteist abuse, discrimination and violence. Our salute from here in Bangalore to Comrade Anagha Sasi. It's important to remember all of this because it's important to understand the magnitude of what is happening. Where earlier, a few months ago, we thought that it would be a few people with grey hair or without hair who would be screaming at a protest and nobody would care. It would be few activists who will come here, give a roll call that we are here and we are fighting, and they will go back. And nobody will care. But few months down the line, we see that the students of this country are fighting back. They are fighting, they fought for the resignation of an education minister and won. They fought for the cancellation of a public service examination and won. They fought against the staying of a bill that overtook the autonomy of their university and won. They fought against an arrogant chairman of the Bar Council and they won. And the other battles that we are waging throughout the country are yet to be won, but we are confident that the way the Gen Z marches, victory will certainly be ours. And we talk about these struggles not just because we must appreciate people who are fighting. We talk about these struggles because the Jantar Mantar protest did not end on the 25th of July. What we are witnessing, the kind of protests we are witnessing throughout the country post the Jantar Mantar protest is testament to the fact that the spirit of Jantar Mantar protest, the spirit of the defeat of the fascists in the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan lives on in the young people of this country. So here is a clarion call to the young people, the Gen Z, the Gen Alpha, the young millennials, the old millennials, the boomers, all generations who live here in Karnataka and in Bangalore. Here is a clarion call. You do not like the classroom of your university. Protest. Organize, educate yourselves, agitate. You don't like the fee structure of your college. Organize, educate yourselves, agitate. You don't like what is going on around you. You don't like the crisis of unemployment facing all of us today. Educate, organize, agitate. That has to be the norm of the day. We must realize that the Jantar Mantar protest must never end. We must realize that there must indeed be 1,000 Jantar Mantars throughout this country, and the fear that the government feels currently, it's not enough that the government feels this fear. What will be enough is when this government and the BJP RSS system would have been rooted, would have been uprooted from the soil of this country. I think only then must we rest. So miles to go before we sleep. And then, I can't speak for long, so I'll just end it quickly. Today I was sitting in an interview and I was asked, what is a memory of the Jantar Mantar protest that stayed with you? And I thought about it, and I think the memory that stayed with me was 2 days after the violence of the 20th July. On 20th of July, Comrade Manish, Comrade Amin and I, three of us, broke our 22-day hunger strike. And that was also the day that the call for march to Parliament was given. We both broke our hunger strike early in the morning, but we did not have the energy to participate in the march to the Parliament. So we were sitting in our tent at Jantar Mantar, where a few hours later, the security forces fired tear gas shells. lathi charged, chased us out of the protest site, which of course raises the question that if the aim of these security forces were to disperse protesters away from the parliament, then why were they firing tear gas shells inside Jantar Mantar, doing a lathi charge inside Jantar Mantar? But anyways, we were not able to go. We had to vacate Jantar Mantar and leave the protest site. We were very unwell after the hunger strike, so we stayed in a hospital overnight. And the next morning, we had a press conference about the state repression, where we felt very sick. I was also sick. Other comrades were also sick. So it was only after 2 days that I was able to go back to Jantar Mantar. And when I went back to Jantar Mantar had changed. There was a new energy at Jantar Mantar. I went onto the stage and I spoke from the mic. And when I was talking about the accountability of the Commissioner of Police, I was talking about the accountability of the Home Minister and demanding both of their resignations. The people were responding to it with unimaginable energy and rage. And I think I realize now that the rage was not just against the violence, the state repression of the 20th of July. That rage was many, many years in the making. That rage was the rage of Radhika Amma, Rohit Vemula's mother, who was dragged on the streets of Hyderabad for demanding justice for her son. That rage was the rage of all of those students who were brutally detained in the Rohit Vemula Justice for Rohit Vemula campaign. And that rage was being reflected in the people who were sitting at Jantar Mantar. The rage was not just the rage of 20th July's state repression. The rage was the rage of thousands and lakhs of Indian citizens standing in the line after demonetization and losing their lives. Common citizens being told that the money that you hold here and then that you have spent such hard work to earn will no longer be valid. And you will have to stand in lines, staking your livelihoods, staking your lives to exchange some money. The anger was for the loss of lives in those demonetization lines. The anger was against the repression that the students of Jamia Millia Islamia and JNU have been facing. We are the future generations. We will inherit this country. We will make not just the economy of this country, but we will decide how the world will look at this country, how this country will look at itself. So investing in our education is the utmost responsibility of the state. But we see that using examples of Jamia Millia Islamia and JNU, students are being pronounced as terrorists, as sucking on the taxpayers' money. This anger was on behalf of all of those students for whom public universities and public education are the only way at social and economic mobility. They come to universities with a dream that the humiliation and the indignity of their previous generation will not be passed down to the next generation, and they carry this dream in universities, and to insult that dream, the rage on that day was not just the rage of 20th July state repression, it was the rage of all of these students. In 2019, when they tried to change what citizenship would mean in this country, and the police and security forces blinded protesters in front of Jamia Millia Islamia, barged into the library of a public institution and broke open the skulls of students who were preparing for their upcoming exams. The rage was of all of those students who were subjected to such violence. The rage was on behalf of all of those women of Shaheen Bagh throughout this country who are being told that you're sitting here not just to define and defend the constitution and citizenship and how citizenship would look like in this country. You are sitting here because you're getting 500 rupees from the Congress government. The rage was from all of these people, old, young, sitting at Shaheen Bagh, sitting in front of Jamia Millia Islamia, sitting in front of AMU. The rage The rage was from all of those workers who, during the COVID lockdown, were forced to walk on foot for thousands of kilometers. Those workers were told that there has been an overnight lockdown and you must walk on foot from Delhi to Bihar, from Delhi to Madhya Pradesh to Rajasthan. And countless people lost their lives in this march. The rage was on behalf of all of them. The rage was on behalf of the fact that during COVID, when there were dead bodies floating in the Yamuna and the people were asking the government questions, the Solicitor General says that there have been no inconsequential deaths and the situation is very much under control. We have handled the COVID epidemic very well. The rage was against this. The rage was against the fact that indignity and humiliation have become the norm of the day in this country. And those people who were sitting at Jantar Mantar, responding with rage, frustration, anger, were not just, and that is when perhaps they decided that they would not just demand the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan, they wanted a sacking of the Home Minister, a sacking of the Prime Minister of this country, who have presided over years and years of violence upon the common people of this country. There are several instances that I did not mention and that remain as frustrating as the ones that I did. It is important that this rage not die. Rage does not necessarily mean violence. Rage does not necessarily mean anarchy. Rage means to sit down and ask yourself what this country needs of you currently. And to put your heart and soul into building that country, into taking this country away from the fascists in a way that truly means the defeat of the BJP, not just in the parliament, but the defeat of the RSS and its ideology within our drawing rooms, our dinner tables, our WhatsApp groups, our offices, at tea stalls, at coffee shops. It is no more enough that we defeat the BJP electorally. The only thing that is going to be enough is a complete pushback and uprooting of the RSS ideology from the soil of this country. The same RSS that did not participate in the making of this country, that discouraged young people from fighting against British imperialism, those same people today hand out certificates of nationalism. We will show them what nationalism is. We will show them what it means to be a Bhagat Singh of a young generation. We will show them the patriotism of an Ashfaqullah Khan. We will show them the patriotism of a Rani Lakshmi Bai. We will show them the patriotism of an Ambedkar. We will fight with all the force of history and forge for ourselves a future where there is no place for the RSS, where there is no place for the BJP, not just today, where there is no place for the BJP and the RSS, not just today, not just tomorrow, not just in 2029, but never in this country. We will never repeat the mistakes that our ancestors made. We will never make the mistakes that our ancestors made. We will never let a country forget that Mahatma Gandhi was murdered by an RSS ideologue. We will not let this country forget that while a Muslim couple was designing and stitching the tricolor of this newly found freedom and this country, it was the RSS that was denigrating this tricolor and saying that Hindus think the number 3 is Apshagun. That is why we will never respect the tricolor. They will hand out. We will never let this country forget that until the very last moment, the RSS refused to fly the tricolor in their offices. We will never let this country forget that while people like Khudiram Bose were laying down their lives for the freedom of this country, RSS mouthpieces were discouraging young people to fight the British and instead congratulate the British on having defeated the Mughal Empire. We will never let this country forget that they have always stood with those people who intend to loot this country, who intend to divide this country, who intend to destroy this country. And just like Bhagat Singh, just like Ambedkar, just like Ashfaqullah Khan, we will build this country anew despite the attempts of the RSS and this BJP. Here's hoping that this rage never dies. Here's hoping that 1,000 Jantar Mantars become thousands of Jantar Mantars, millions of Jantar Mantars, and they bloom like flowers on the venom that they have spread in the soil of this country, and this country becomes truly, in essence, a democracy for the people, by the people, of the people. Thank you so much.